This is an ordinary village cooperative where people grow onions, potatoes and other vegetables. There are no military men here. There are beehives here. People do apiaries. This year's summer season in Zelenodolsk is taking place under enemy shelling. 6 huge craters from the Iskander are the result of recent missile attacks. There are practically no intact houses here, and it is only a miracle that people did not suffer. Locals whose homes are still intact sometimes visit and recall with horror their first impression after the explosions. The explosion was very powerful. If someone had been at the epicenter of the explosion, it is unlikely that he would have survived. My house is about 30 meters away from here. There are pieces of metal in my yard. And this is the aftermath of the recent arrival, one of 3 schools in Zelenodolsk. The windows have been blown out for the 3rd time. We don't change the windows, we just cover them with plastic sheeting. We gather shell fragments and put them in one place. Every day they make the check around the building.
Первый этаж и второй этаж пострадал.
The first time the first and the second floors were affected, then again the first floor. This, for example, is what the window in the teacher's room looks like now. Today the dining room and one more classroom were affected. Are we scared? Of course we are. We still want to leave.
The local post office survived a direct hit to the roof back in late June. It was a day off and no one was there. The missile destroyed inventory and packages. After the strike, all the employees left the city. Only the postal carrier and the head of the post office remained there. They were temporarily moved to another building. This one will probably have to be demolished.
Even now, after this destruction, we got shell fragments from the wall. It destroyed our building. This will be a souvenir for us for a long time.
During the war, 7 people were killed in Zelenodolsk, 13 more were wounded. 3 schools, cultural facilities, stadiums, kindergartens, more than 600 houses in the private sector and 600 apartments were partially or completely destroyed. In the city there are signs warning that walking in parks is dangerous. It is forbidden to move around the city at all, because we don't have a single place in the city that has not yet suffered from shelling. Despite daily shelling, Zelenodolsk hosted almost 2,000 internally displaced persons. Almost all of them are from the Kherson region. Mykola, together with his wife, left the occupied village 2 months ago. They say they lived in the basement, slept dressed. Everything around their house was destroyed by large caliber shells. When they entered the village, of course, they had nothing. They took trailers, tractors, cars from the farmers. Everything was taken away. They were carrying ammunition. 6 to 8 Ural trucks with ammunition fired in our direction. Every day, that's what we experienced. In the volunteer center of Zelenodolsk, where assistance to IDPs is provided, people began to collect exhibits for the Museum of the Russian-Ukrainian War. It was decided to open it after the victory of Ukraine. There are already the first trophy exhibits. This was taken from a Russian soldier. This is a sample of the Soviet helmet. This is already newer, which is produced by the Russian Federation. Here you can see traces of blood. From Zelenodolsk to the front line, which runs along the Kakhovka Reservoir, is a little over 10 kilometers. The Ukrainian army holds the approaches to the city from enemy units. When the fighting began, more than half of the residents left. But now people have begun to return. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Belokudrya, UATV News.